Stemming and bridging you can do. You can also walk if you want to squeeze through, but let's just talk about stemming and bridging. Let's learn something, right? So first of all, when you see like the bottom is low, sit down and slide down. Do not jump, okay? And our shoes, like we all have perfect shoes for that. So if you even like rappel or do climbing or down climbing or whatever, so you want the shoes to be as much as you can on the wall. If you're touching the wall like with your toes, your foot is not gonna stay there. So you either have to pick up the feet so they are on the wall, or just like spread the legs, like one on one wall, one on the other wall. Sorry. Okay, so stemming is when you keep one foot on one wall and another foot on the other wall. So if you walk like this, it's called stemming, okay? So if you walk like this, it's bridging, and if you walk like this, it's bridging also, okay? So it's up to you. Pick your poison. Slide down on the rocks. So our shoes are meant for sliding. So make sure you slide down. Friction is your friend, okay? So if you're sliding down, put your body on the rock. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath. I don't know why. So make sure you put your body on the rock as much as you can. I will show you that. I'm gonna put my backpack on it. So the more body you put on the rock, the more friction you're gonna have to sliding down. You guys see that? I have to push myself to go down. Okay, so try to be as big as you can and just slide on it. Do you guys have anything else to add?
So one thing I'm always thinking of is not letting my feet get too low.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like,
yeah.
So the good point of like seeing like where your feet should be. If you going with your feet like this is not gonna hold you. You want the feet be like this. You guys see the difference? Mm-hmm. Okay, even on the rappel, this is not gonna hold you. This is gonna hold you. So when you're rappelling too, you make sure you have at least like half of the foot or like 2/3 of the foot is actually on the rock. And that indicator will tell you like how, if you have to pick your feet higher or like lower, you will decide by that. Just make sure then you know how much distance of your foot needs to be on the wall. If it's just touching with toes, it's not gonna hold you. You're gonna slip down, okay?
But you actually just need to push harder and push your body harder into the wall, because that friction is going to stop you and then get you in control, and then you can kind of continue moving down.
Yep, good pointer.
I like to start top to bottom. So we're going to buddy check our team members before they go to rappel. So starting with the top, their helmet, is it attached? Is it secure? It fits well. And then hair, is that hair securely tied back? Because even braids to the side can get stuck, ponytails, beards, all sorts of things. So you just got to watch for that. And then we're going down to like their shirt. Do they have any loose? Does it need to be tucked into their harness? Does like a jacket need to be zipped up? Things like that. Like, is all their clothing secure and tucked in? Because that's another thing that just gets stuck in rappel devices. So any risks we can mitigate before you go on rappel, the better. And any sort of bags. So like, again, lots of bags have straps. So again, are those tucked away? Is their bag attached to them correctly? Things like that. Then we go down to their harness. You want to check that the harness is snug and tight above those hip bones. And the leg loops. Make sure both legs are through the leg loops. That happens putting on your harness and they only put one through. So check those. Usually it's good to keep any sort of soft gear like slings, Prusiks. I like to tuck them actually into the leg loop, and I like them on the opposite side of my rappel, like where I'm gonna rappel. And then usually on my rappel side is where I keep hardware gear. Make sure they have their correct equipment and that it's all looking good. And then go down again, pants, anything loose. And then down to their shoes, shoelaces tied, everything secure there.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's kind of like I do just that kind of head to toe. Then you go to your anchor manager, and then the anchor manager or group leader is also gonna make sure you do everything. Because once you get on rappel, they're going to make sure like you're hooked into your rappel device correctly. Your beaners are locked, right? Do you have your gloves? Do you want gloves? Do you have those on? Things like that.
Okay, do you guys remember beaner black?
Yes.
Do we do beaner blacks?
A carabiner block?
Carabiner black. Do we?
No,
Okay,
just
here's
figure
thing,
it.
sorry. Here's thing, when you come to the anchor, you want to get secured, okay? That's thing number one. So you want to clip yourself. Ooh, guys, look what I got.
Did you just get a carabiner?
Oh my gosh, lucky. Woohoo!
Jen and Booty.
Yep.
Oh man. One of these days I'm gonna luck out.
I know.
All I found was like an orange beanie so far. And a no good.
Okay, so when I'm coming to the anchor, this is a metal anchor. So I'm gonna check if the bolts are fine, they are not moving. Okay, I'm gonna knock around if I can hear any hollow. Or sometimes you can take the carabiner, okay, and knock with the carabiner. That sounds solid, right? So that's how you check the anchor. So most of the state parks, everything is gonna be bolted. You're not always gonna have chains. You're gonna have to set up the webbing here. Here we are lucky, we have chains, we don't have to deal with that. Okay, and so what else? Okay, so we have releasable rigging and we have not releasable rigging, right? So we're gonna start with not releasable. We're gonna start with the Carabiner black. Okay, can I have the 100 rope? Okay, so first thing I'm starting, you check your beta, okay, and find out how long the rappel is. I'm looking on this rappel right here and I'm thinking it's gonna be around 25 feet. So I think I'm gonna put like 30 feet. But this one is so easy because I can see the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the rope and I'm gonna put it through the link. Okay, and then I'm gonna measure. Do you guys remember how to measure the rope? Okay, so we're gonna do the butterfly. So I like to start a little bit like with maybe like shorter, like 2-3 feet extra. Okay, and then I'm gonna start with the 5. Okay, so 5. And I'm putting, if I started at the top, I'm putting back at the top and now it's going to the bottom. Okay, so now it's gonna be 10. I started from the bottom, I'm coming up from the bottom to the top. Okay, so this is gonna be 15. And you just continue. 20, 25, and 30. Okay, so why did I leave this a little bit longer? So I left this a little bit longer so it doesn't tangle and make knots when it's flying. Okay, so that's why it's sticking a little bit longer so it doesn't get mingled with all of them. And I always like to make myself, I will release one of them, and I like to make myself a slack here. The slack is for a reason. When you throw the rope, you want that rope to have time to untangle before it falls down. Okay, so that's why I'm leaving that slack so it doesn't start untangling right here. It will just go fly and then untangle, okay? And so when you're throwing the rope, if you're right-handed, you want to throw with the right hand, okay? And you want to aim somewhere like up there. You don't want to aim down there. You're aiming up there. It's gonna go up there and then it's gonna fall. That's what you want, okay? You don't want it to be like stuck right here. So I'm gonna take my rope and you're gonna yell a rope before you throw the rope, okay? So I said rope, and if you don't hear anything, you can throw it, okay? Oh, do you see how it just flew and then it starts untangling? So that's what you want. I think I put a bit too much, but that's okay. Okay, now we're gonna start with the beaner black. So beaner black, it's definitely a good black to go from, but you can only set it up when you see the bottom and you know that the rope is on the bottom. Okay, it's a really quick thing to go. A lot of canyoneers are using that, but we are preferring releasable rigging. If someone gets stuck, especially when you have a group not experienced people, you want to make sure you have releasable rigging. But we're gonna start with the beaner blacks because I want you guys to know that. Okay, so do you guys remember what we do with the beaner black? Do we know
Clove
what
Hitch?
hitch? Yes, yeah. We're gonna use the Clove Hitch. Do you guys remember Clove Hitch? Okay, so I guess should we practice?
Yeah,
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Like if you want to grab your rope right now and practice the Clove Hitch really quick.
So Clove Hitch, one loop is behind, one loop
Yes,
is in front.
yes, thank you. So I have like bunny ears, okay? So I have like one going to the front, and the second one is actually going from opposite direction. So I have one piece of rope on the back and one piece of rope on the front, okay? And then I just fold them to, no, sorry, I just fold them this way. So they meet on the middle.
And that's a static.
Yes, it is a static block. It's not releasable. So you actually,
And that's a hitch, not a knot, right?
yes. So you actually have to know conversions to convert this to releasable if someone gets stuck. This is why you don't want to use it in the canyon. If you have not experienced people and you cannot see the bottom, okay? Because you cannot release it.
Yeah, so those are good questions to ask if you're with a group and they're doing a beaner box. Be like, hey, we can't see the bottom. What's your plan if there's not enough rope? You know? And if they say, oh yeah, I'll do a conversion, whatever, like, that's one thing. But if they're like, oh, I don't know, like, then you probably shouldn't be using that.
Yeah, everyone has the rope out. Let's go do that one more time. Okay, every knot has to be dressed. Everything has to be dressed. When it's not dressed, you have to ask someone to check it for you, right? You always ask someone to check for you after you are done rigging. So if it's not dressed, the person has a hard time to checking it. So they have to undo it and do it again if it's sloppy, right? So the beaner block is set on the spine. I'm gonna go through really quick. So this is a working side. This is a spine. This is a gate side. And this is called crotch. Okay?
Oh,
okay. Yes, very weird, but it's crotch. Yes. So, okay, you set it up. Okay? And this is gonna be our beaner block. Make sure that the carabiner is locked. Okay, it's good. So, reminder again, since you guys were all already in the canyon, so how does the first person rappels down?
But they have to self-belay.
Yes, because they do not have a belayer on the bottom, right? They're going first, so they have to have a self-belaying device. Sorry. And Lindsey, would you like to come and demonstrate for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all just gonna move out of your way. Welcome there. We're going.
So now,
Yeah, so how you tie that is you do this way.
So for a self belay, you use a type of prusik, and I'm going to demonstrate with the VT prusik. The benefit to the VT prusik is it's made of Dyneema, which is very heat resistant. A lot of the climber, like polyester, I don't know what it's made out of. A lot of the climber prusiks, they can like melt if it gets too hot. So that's why we really love these. I mean, it's one of the reasons. There's a lot of reasons. So I'm going to show you, there's different ways to do it. But I'm going to show you how to do it above your device with the VT prusik, tying it as the velted and truss. So I take it like this, and I'm going to start to wrap it. And usually the rule of thumb is kind of about 3, but it's going to vary like how skinny your rope is, how much you weigh. So you'll kind of get to know the best way, like the best amount of wraps that you need. And then you're going to end up with like one coming out the top and one coming out the bottom. You're going to want to kind of keep these even. So this top one comes down and this bottom one is going to capture it, okay? And it's going to like, we're going to have that like X right there. And again, I'm making sure that my ends are even. And this is kind of where you braid the rope. So you're crossing the strands, alternating back and forth. So, okay, until it's like this. And then you take a beaner and it's like to the device. Okay, and so you can kind of test like, look how it's gripping it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. But if you're using 2 fingers, you can actually release it very easily. So as you're rappelling, you still got your brake hand here. You're gonna have this hand up above, those 2 fingers, just slowly releasing your tension as you go down, right? And then if you were to like let go, lose control, this is gonna catch and grab you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's backing up you.
That's
Because
really
no
cool.
one's down there to back you up, right?
Right.
So that's why, so first person down, what are some of the risks they have?
Hitting their head and getting knocked out.
Yeah, they could
Not
get
enough
hurt.
rope, maybe. But
Yeah.
we can see the
Yeah,
what's
if you
on the
can't
bottom.
see the bottom, there might not be enough rope, right? So they have to be, it's a higher risk position to be in. So you're not usually going to send the newbies down first, because you need to be aware of looking, okay, make sure I have enough rope. If I don't have enough rope, I got to be able to stop, lock off, and have them lower me, you know, things like that.
So VT is stretching like far, right? It has like pretty much that much distance, like almost a foot, like all together. So this is why you want to extend your device. But there are also different rope craftsers. Like there's auto block and there's a climb house, and Lindsey will show you that. Oh, and they take a little bit less space, but they are not as easy to move around like VT is. Sometimes they can be stuck. I always have one in the backpack just for emergency. You never know.
So you start by essentially doing a girth hitch. Okay, and then you keep like going back through the loop.
And this is a concentric prusik.
This is a 3 wrap prusik.
Okay.
And so you are gonna have to just dress it a little bit because you want the 2 strands that are coming out to come out in the middle. You just,
So you guys see this one, this rope grab, it's taking a lot less space than VT.
yeah, so you wouldn't
Right?
have, this one you wouldn't have to, yeah, extend your device as much versus like, see how much longer this one is? When I do this below, I have to extend it this far.
So Lindsey, where would you clip this one?
So depending on what type of harness you have, because it needs to be clipped somewhere that's like weighted and rated. So if you have a canyoneering harness, your leg loops are rated, so you can clip it to a leg loop. You can clip it to belay loops. If you just have like a climbing harness, then you have to clip it to like one of your belay loops. But there's that. So, but you can also do this same 3 wrap prusik with your this type of one too. It's the same thing. You're just gonna go in 3 times. And it will look like this. And then you'll just clip your carabiner into that.
Okay.
Okay.
So if the belayer is giving you too tight, then you can say, please give me some slack. Or if they are, what's the other one?
Tension.
Yeah, so and then if you need some more tension, then you can say, hey, give me some tension. Yeah.
And then it's on rope, and they say,
Oh, and then when you get off the rope, you can say off rope.
but when you begin,
Oh,
it's,
you say on belay. To
They
let
say
the person
belay.
know.
they say belay on.
Then belay on, and then when you're rappelling, you say you rappel on, and then they go on, go ahead, rappel.
Rappelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for doing a fireman's belay, I am standing sideways, and I'll have my arm up. I'm always watching the person coming down, and I'm ready here. So if needed, I can pull
Okay.
as needed. Belay's on.
So go ahead and do her.
All right. I just switched because I'm left-handed.
Okay.
I keep saying this story to everyone. Like, what's better device? And I'm like,
Rappelling. Rappel on.
I'm using it. It's a funny story to tell, huh?
Yeah.